footy, by the way. Record attendances for the first 5 rounds. Everyone's hitting the scoreboard. The ratings are great. We couldn't be happier. Beck, magnificent to see you as always.
Thank you.
Tell everyone what's happening on a big night on the Footy Show.
A huge night on the Footy Show. They are sitting on the top of the table, sitting pretty there, right up the top. We have the coach of the Kangaroos, Brad Scott, joining us live on the Footy Show.
GWS also going okay. We cross on a link up to the heater. Heat Straw.
What the Foss, of course, is back. It is the segment that could go anywhere.
Then the Footy Show stakes have been very controversial and beautifully done. The horses are in the stalls. We're not far away from that as well. But we need the panel to get this show really rocking. This man, what about his footy club and what about the footy he's playing? The big star from Melbourne, Jack Watts, is on the Footy Show.
Hey, good-looking panel.
Good-looking panel till we get right down the end and then it drops
There's
right
old
off.
fat.
Speaking of good-looking men, this man's dominated this show from the first minute it went to air. Mr. Football, we call him. 303 games for his beloved Cats. Put your hands together for John Sammy Newman.
Hello, dear. How are you? Hello, Jimmy.
Oh, sharp you look
Now,
too,
just
Force.
before, so we don't have Jordan. Shut up.
Yes.
So we don't have Jordan inundated with calls.
yes.
I just have to tell people
Go
what
on
I'm
then.
wearing because she drives them mad.
You must be on the take.
Yes.
Not what? What do you think? This is a Van Houston shirt.
Is it?
Would I be on the take from them?
Must be.
A wood stock suit.
Or is it?
Aquila, and these are 3 Chiefs socks.
Right.
Oh, I like the socks. Very classy.
There's got to be a
Hello,
reason
how
why
are
you
you?
do this.
G'day, Jack.
G'day, Sam. Brett.
Thank you, Brett.
Anthony.
Yeah. Now, just before we
Go
start,
on.
Yes.
what's happening, dear?
I'm not quite sure.
dear.
What is
All
happening,
right.
Sam?
Now listen up, kids. If you are a footballer or you know someone who is a footballer that plays in your competition, tell them to gather around because later on I'll be telling them just what they should expect when they play football.
Righto.
And I'm serious about this. This is just the absolute blather and dribble that goes on
Righto, well, we'll get to
in
that
our
later.
community about
Sounds
some
interesting.
things.
And we also have a warning
Listen
for you.
up. What?
Later. We have a warning for you coming later on too, so you might get a bit of return fire, Forsell.
Oh. what is it?
We're not sure. That's
Oh,
coming
you're
out of
not doing
nowhere.
it now.
Exactly. Well, things are looking very good for this man and his club at the moment. 2 on the trot. They've got rid of that hoodoo. Welcome, please, Jack Watts. To the left. Jack, it is nice to have you in here on the Footy Show. When you're flying, I mentioned 2 in a row, you've got rid of that hoodoo. What's the feeling like at the club at the moment? Must be different, is it?
Yeah, different, definitely.
Different, good.
Pleasantly different, that's right. We're playing a good brand of footy, which is nice, especially playing up forward. You know, got a really nice looking team that we're putting together and
Nice looking.
it's heading in the right direction, that's for sure.
Obviously, a big talking point this week was the Alex Rance incident, and you were on the end of that.
Oh.
Whoa! What was going through your head apart from his fist when that actually happened?
No, not much. I tried to jump up and grab the footy and kick the goal before Big Vines or Bernie Vince came and gave a free kick away, but no, there wasn't too much in it, let's be honest. It was...
It's worth a free kick. There was nothing in it, mate. You
That's
didn't,
exactly right.
overdo the holding the head, did you? It
I
was
didn't
just a
think
show
so. I
of
thought he sort of-
frustration from...
That's right, from him.
Yeah.
I actually thought he just fell on top of me, and that was pretty much it. I didn't see it until I went home and watched the replay, but yeah, not a lot there.
No,
at all.
nothing.
Did he text you? He
He
texted
did.
you?
Yeah, he did.
That
yeah.
night or the next day?
The next day.
What
yeah,
did he say in the
texted me.
text?
He just said, "Look, I'm really sorry, out of character, and you know, from everything that I hear, he's a ripping bloke, and you know, very nice of him to.
Did
very
you
nice of him to send
reply
the
to the text, or did you just leave it?
No,
Let
I
him sweat a
replied.
bit.
No, I replied.
Okay.
I said, don't worry about it at all. He sort of seemed like he was stressing a little bit.
LOL and all that.
Smiley face.
Yeah, emojis.
Try and lighten the mood a little bit.
We might know why that happened, actually, Jack, because Alex Rance, of course, joined us on the show last week.
Yes.
And he was pretty calm until the force here wound him up like a top. Let's have a look.
I'll tell you what, Sam, I feel like running through the wall after that speech. You really got me inspired and ready to play. Maybe you could come in before the game.
And I'll do one for you as well.
This is after you'd given him the Theodore Roosevelt.
Yeah, that's right. I could give him a couple more too.
Could
if he
you?
wants. No, but 2 weeks, my goodness.
Well, he did put his hand up. That was interesting during the week. A press conference, which we'll get to Lids about in just a sec, but let's have a look at it.
Yeah, it's certainly something that I don't want to be remembered for. It was a really stupid emotional act, which it was completely out of character, and I'm so frustrated at myself that now that possibility of perception people have of me.
So, Lids, the question we got for you, as we welcome you, by the way, Brett Delidio, superstar. A lot of people agree with Sam, and that is that it was not a massive thing. Any need for the apology, or would he happily have been able to get through the week without it?
Look, I think it's a good thing that he has apologised. Like he said, it goes against everything that he stands for and believes in. So, I do tend to agree that I don't tend to agree with Sam. I agree that he should have done the apology, and I'm sure Jack was thankful that he did, and we've moved on and on to the next 2 weeks without him, but we'll get him back in a couple.
Thank you, Brett. I didn't say he shouldn't. I didn't mention that he shouldn't have apologised. I said it was a pretty passive thing, hardly 2 weeks worth. And if he didn't overdo it, and he says he didn't even know it was happening. I mean, God Almighty, he was frustrated. At least he showed some spunk. He's just a bit frustrated with his side.
I'm glad he apologised, Jim.
Are you?
Because I've got something I want to say, actually, because I've been living with this for 27 years.
Have you?
Yes. I've got a prepared statement
fat
here.
gut.
Have you?
To Gary Buckenara and his
I
family,
thought it was going to be Gary Lott.
I'd like to make the following statement.
Yes.
It was a really emotional and dumb thing that I did more than 27 years ago, and I'm more professional than that.
Yes.
This act goes against the moral standards I have and the values I stand for. I'm absolutely remorseful for what I did. I've since shot Gary Buckenara a text. It's nothing personal, Gaz, and I hope there's no bad blood between us. Sorry, Bucky. That is from
Bill.
me. Mate.
Did you feel better now, Bill? You feel better?
You just saw that. That could have killed him, what I did to Buckenara. Have a look at that. That is high contact, high force. That is 5 or 6 weeks in today's football.
I'll tell you what, Jim. He got my attention when he said, I'd like to send a message to Gary. I thought, this will be good. Buckenara, my word. That got my attention, let me tell you that.
I'm not sure, Bill, on behalf of Gary Buckenara, that there's ever been a man who less needs to apologise for something.
Well, it sits with you. We've all done things that we hide away, don't we? Jack?
Absolutely, Bill.
In the closet?
Plenty of things.
Yeah, so it's good to get out there, off the chest.
Speaking of the Melbourne Footy Club, Jack, there is huge news for your club this week with the selection for the first time of this unbelievably exciting young footballer, Christian Petracca. We're going to get to the side shortly, but this is big news for the D's. And we've got the vision, which is absolutely fantastic, of Paul Roos, the senior coach, telling him he's in for the first time.
So the way you've been playing is the way we want you to play.
Yep.
And the team's in good form.
Yep.
So it's hard to find a spot for you at the moment.
Okay.
But we've found one for you.
Thank you very much. Oh my God.
That is absolutely brilliant, and thanks to the Melbourne Footy Club for letting us have a sneak peek at that. But this boy, I don't think any of us quite know what he's capable of.
Yeah, I think that's true. You don't want to pump him up too much too early, but from everything we've seen, he's going to be a really special talent. He's worked for his spot. He's a very energetic kid, and the boys are very, very excited to get out there and play with him. He'll bring a new energy to the team.
Nice-looking player too, just to fit into the nice-looking side, mate.
He's a little tough nut, Sammy.
You've got to be a good-looking
You got
player.
some
Wear
ca-
those nice-looking jumpers.
Yeah, but you got a lot of tough nuts, haven't you? Big Maxie and Viney and
Myself and-
Thomas Buck. You're not. Thomas Buck. So you're actually nice and tough and hard now.
Yeah, definitely. I think Brendan McCartney and Goody and Roosie, obviously, that's something that they hold very high in terms of importance. So we're starting to put it together.
Good.
Jack, you're on a roll now. You've got that momentum, which is that buzzword that you're fitting into that category now. You must want to stay at the D's. Have you started your contract talks yet?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a place that you want to
Absolutely.
be.
Oh, I thought you said yes, absolutely. You've started your contract talks.
Well, I believe that hopefully they're getting started. I'll leave Big Paulie Connors to sort that one out, but yeah, I think that's on the way, and yeah, it's a
That's
very
the
good
place you want to be?
Yeah, certainly.
Or you can ask for a bit more.
Through the pockets.
Yeah. No, you can ask for a lot more.
We're going to have to pay Jesse Hogan a fair bit next year, I think, so I'll be...
To keep him.
Now, Brett, let me be candid. It's turned to shit down there. What are we going to do about it, mate?
I'm actually interested in your thoughts, Sam.
I've got plenty, mate. I have the
Let me
time.
have them. I'll write them down. Use a pen.
Well, let's have a look at Lids. This is, as you're thinking about those thoughts, this is bread in the box last week, and wouldn't have been much fun in there, Lids, I wouldn't have thought.
Yeah, I was disappointed the food didn't turn up on time, and my drink got spilled as well, so...
And you got belted.
Yeah, well...
What's it like sitting in the box? Because it's so much easier
It is.
watching up there and watching the play, isn't it?
Well, you can certainly see a lot more space that the boys they can't see looking at eye level. So, yeah, very easy from up there, and you just got to remind yourself of that when you go back to speak to them at half-time.
Back in the side, Brett Delidio, which is unbelievable. Bill, very important. Why? How important?
Well, lucky you asked me that, Jim.
Yes.
Because I've got a sheet here. Rich, now, ever listen to this? He is the saviour.
Yes.
Richmond have won just 3 games of the 18 games that Brett Delidio has missed. So he's... Did you get that?
Yes.
So they've only won 3 games of the 18 that he has missed, Jim. Yeah. So he is the man. And you ask how they're going to turn it around with him.
All right. So
Yes.
while you're on that roll, how important is Jack for the Demons?
When Jack doesn't play for the Demons, they win.
Oh, Bill!
That's all it is.
Bill! Jack is not on.
But you are the saviour. You are so important to that club. With your running, then you go in the midfield, then you go up forward and kick goals.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're going to say.
What do you want me to say to that, Bill?
But do you ever...
I think it's more to do with experience and being an older head out there that can help set up our younger players and give direction. That sort of helps a little bit out there.
Yeah.
Lids, another important component of your side is obviously Jack Riewoldt. He had his ankle injury. We can see that absolutely looks huge after the weekend's match. He
That's
has
actually
been
normal.
named. Will he be playing?
Yeah, he assures me today that he's feeling pretty good and trained this afternoon. This afternoon. So he's going okay, full of confidence, Jack, and I'm sure he'll get over that fat ankle he's used to.
Nice cankles, very nice cankles. And someone else at the club's got cankles, Lids.
They do.
Who would that be?
The cockroach has got a nice set of ankles. He has to wear flared jeans, can't wear the skinny regular fit that,
Damien Hardwick.
that most of us have. Yeah.
Cankles.
His dress sense is good though.
We'll get to the game by now. You're all hanging out to have a look at the Melbourne Footy Club, who take on St Kilda at Etihad. Well, let's have a look at the Demons. Just one change there. Petraka comes in, Brayshaw goes out with too much talent as we swing across to the St Kilda Football Club. And they need to perform better than they did last week. McCartan is an amazing out. The big talented forward, Lee and Loney come out. Gresham, Membry and Akers come in. Just before we get... Yeah, well said, sir. Before we get to this game, just for Demons fans, because this is the Demons' home game at Etihad, your fans aren't good at turning up under the roof, Jackie boy. What is not to like about the Melbourne Footy Club at the minute? If you follow the Demons, get to Etihad, Saturday 1:40 p.m, and enjoy what is going to be a ripping game of footy. Bill?
Well, you were talking to him, weren't you?
I'll finish with that. Your thoughts on the game?
Hang on.
He's lost
I've
his
got a
thoughts.
fat stat, Jim.
OK.
If the NAB Challenge results were included, right,
Yes.
Melbourne would be at top of the ladder because they were 3-0.
They were.
So that's what good form they're in.
Very good.
Having said all this, I'm going for a upset here. I reckon St Kilda will beat them at Etihad. At Etihad, St Kilda. What do you reckon, Delids?
I'm going to go against you, Bill. I think the form that I saw from Max Gawn and Jack and his boys last week, they're playing an exciting brand of footy and they're on a roll at the moment. I'm going to back them in and D's to get up for me.
Not only do your fans battle to get to Etihad, but your own club's record there hasn't been great either. So time you turn that around.
That's it.
Certainly, but we're very excited. We've got Reach as our charity partner this game, the Reach Foundation, which Jimmy Steins was a co-founder of, and we've kept a really close relationship with them, and they're on board this game. So everyone get down, support a great cause, and yeah, hopefully the boys will get a good win.
Yeah, well, Beck, the Melbourne supporters never been down to the boondocks ever, have they?
They don't get there
Docklands,
enough.
it's just the wrong side of the river for them.
Well, but this could be the exception to the rule. The club of flying.
I always hark back to Essendon beating Melbourne. That's the only thing that makes me worried about picking Melbourne, but logic would say that they would have to beat St Kilda.
I think it's going to be 3 on the trot for Melbourne. Go the D's.
Speaking of the D's, Tom Bug's been great for your club, and we love this I love this last week. Some people didn't. He takes a hanger, really good hanger, runs in the goal, points to the scoreboard, and then he gives the fans the old shh. That is fantastic. I like that. He copped a bit of criticism, and even you were talking about it at half-time, Jackie boy, with Bernard. What were you saying there?
We all love it as well. Buggy was copping exactly what he was giving, so he was pretty excited, taking a little hover, and yeah, a lot of emotion out there,
Who did
Sammy.
he cop criticism from?
The media, saying that you shouldn't do that.
Over-celebration,
Over-celebration, Foss.
We've got to give this away. Mate, no, seriously.
Is that the sort of stuff you
someone-
used to roll with back in the day, in the 70s,
Did
with the white
someone
boots?
honestly, in the solace of their typewriter or word processor, I don't suppose you have typewriters now.
No, they've been
Did
out for a
someone
long
say that they thought that was a bit off?
Yeah, I don't know.
Honestly and
I think
truly.
John Ralph had a fair crack on Twitter, which we saw during the week. So
Naming names.
said that was untoward. And
yeah, Buggy.
Mate, it's cringeful. Honestly, it makes you embarrassed to be part of it.
Got a bit of spunk about him. You like that, don't you?
I'm not having a go at the bloke who did it. I'm having a go at the bloke.
I'm with you,
The
Foss.
people who
Was that you just flipped?
Well, he did that.
Oh,
Oh, he went like that. He went.
pointed to the crowd and then
May as
shushed
well
him.
have done that.
He gave that one. Now, last week I was sitting at home, wasn't on the panel, and
Great show too.
So it was an excellent show,
I
Bill.
see it dipped a lot, but anyway, ratings Brownless is back. But I nearly fell off my chair, Beck, because you sent a scare through Channel 9 with this news.
But boys, I do just want to let you know I do have some baby news. Not me, baby news. Jim nearly fell off his
I was going to say, it didn't take long for someone.
Yes.
That's very good. What are you, Foss? Actually, very quick.
Frightened the life out of me, Bill.
But that's not the first time you've fooled us being pregnant. Not the first time, Beck, and you know this, that you fooled us saying that you're pregnant. We go back to 1998. 1998.
That's a long
Have
time
a
ago.
look at Beck Madden here and her acting skills as she prank calls Carlton's Brad Pearce.
Now here comes our model Rebecca. She's been trying to ring Brad all day.
Brad! Brad! It's me, Jenny! Brad!
What's with my voice, by the way?
That's you yelling.
That was a little... I don't know where you got that from. That was a little skit I did for the Footy show when I was at uni.
Footy show, 1998.
It's a long, long time ago. That was horrendous. Thanks very much for
Yelling
bringing that
out
up,
to
Bill.
Brad. How'd it all end up? No good.
It ended up well.
Did it?
It was just a little prank. We need to take a break. We've got a ripper show for you lined up. We'll be back after
Tonight on the Footy Show, he's got the Kangaroos jumping. Brad Scott joins us live. He's dragged it up from the letterbox. Sam opens up his dusty old mailbag. Oh, no. I said it was dusty. We cross live to the burbs of Sin City to hear from Heath Shaw of the Giants. Keep banging the drums, Peter, and the red light's flashing. The Footy Show Stakes is ready to run tonight on the Footy Show.
The Footy Show Stakes.
Red light flashing.
Travis Cloak, a late scratching on backed off, has been dropped from the main event. Racing, Nat Fife on Purple Pain completely missed the start. Not so Maxi Gorn on Whiskers, working his way into it. Travis Boak on Rattled, now getting completely overrun by David Kosh on Chinese Bird. Luke Jack Watts has taken a tumble on cancelled ski trip. Oh, but he's okay until Jack solidly by Alex Rance on Cheap Shot. Now that started a melee, and somewhere in all that, the Hawks have found a free kick. But Travis Cloak on Bucked Off is still failing to impress. As they hit the straight, Max Gorn on Whiskers is out in front, followed closely by Warwick Capper on Sylvie Nando's. A length back, Chris Scott coming hard on Lip Reader, pressing Hamish Hartlett on Piss Off Chris. 100 from the line, it's Maxi Gorn, it's Clarko, it's Brendan Bolton on I Love Coaching. He's going to get his first win of the year. What a race! And here come the Richmond fans to collect the horse manure.
Welcome back to You Are Watching the Footy Show. We had some very, very good material for Footy Show Stakes this week, didn't we? Now, just a reminder, we have Heath Shaw very shortly on a live link from Sydney, and we also have the man who's on top of the ladder, who should be on top of the world, Brad Scott, is joining us a little bit later on. But Fossey, you came out of the show, you had a bit of an issue with what I'm not quite sure, but this is your moment to fill us in. Foss, what's up?
Thank you, Becky. How extraordinarily sensible and responsible for the head of an organisation, the CEO or the president of a company, organisation or a football side to have the same narrative in private that he does in public. His fans and support, I speak of David Kosh, his fans and his supporters expect him not to be feckless, which means weak and ineffective, Bill, to come out and say it as it is. No spin zone. You're on 500 grand a year, the players. Suck it up. If he says you're as weak as water, you're as weak as water. Do something about it. I mean, fancy saying and being critical of a man who doesn't sit behind a mahogany desk in his office just for his ego trip. He is as passionate as any. He's been over to China. He's had the game beamed back. And he has every right, seeing he's the head of the organisation, to say he expects better and he demands better. He oversees the whole function, the whole club. What right do people have to say that he doesn't have the right to ask them to step to the plate and do something? Come on. Well, how can you criticise someone for that?
Well,
yes, Becca.
Fossey, I think the issue that some people had was the forum, was how he did it. There's this thing called Twitter, right? Yeah. And that's how he put it out there. And you can only have 140 characters, so sometimes the message doesn't get exactly,
who cares? No? This is not the nuclear
But it was just on Twitter, and people read that and then they decipher it in the way that...
Exactly.
And it's a bit misconstrued sometimes.
Stiff.
Foss, you've played at footy clubs. Yeah. You've got to be all singing off the same page.
What would
so
that
you don't
be?
want the president out here and the players here and the coach here. I've never seen Jim come out and have a crack at his players or his coach, and
He's
I'm
not
sure
on
he'd
Twitter.
like...
Well, it'd be very rarely that a man who's won 4 games in a row would come out and have a crack at his players.
No, but in the past, when they've lost games,
Bill,
you've got to be on the... Don't you?
This is a game of football. He is the not the titular head. He is the absolute head of that organisation and company. And you come out and he bolsters them and talks them up when they're good, and when they're bad, he has every right to say, come on, lads, I mean, we're fighting for our existence and survival here, do something.
What would you say to that?
Look, I am...
Come on, mate, I can handle it. Say you think that's completely wrong.
Silly old bastard.
No, I tend to agree with you, Bill, that I like when everyone's on the same page and we're all singing along to the same tune.
Well, what tune are you... Not you, but what tune is Richmond... Who is the president of Richmond?
Peggy O'Neill, doing a very good job too.
What's his name?
Peggy O'Neill. What's her name? She's made history as the first ever female president, and a very good one. I was going to say, who in the hell's he?
Peggy O'Neill. Well, Peggy, God love her, she should come out and say... I don't know if Peggy would come out and say that, perhaps...
But she hasn't. She's got full right to say it now.
She has, indeed.
The Tigers aren't playing well, but I haven't heard Peggy come out and say it, because she's on the same page.
it's just, Peggy might do herself and her club a favour if she actually came out and said, we're not satisfied as a board with the performance of the players. We have every right to say they're not as good as we hoped they'd be, and we want them to lift. And he responded, Kosh responded to a fan who wrote in or tweeted in or whatever he did and said, what's wrong with this side? And he said, it's not acceptable.
He said it was disgusting.
Well, it was disgusting. I mean, God almighty.
To each their own, and I'm never going to tell David Kosh what he should or shouldn't do, but I have a strong view that as a board and as a chairman, you are actually there to try and relieve the pressure from your footy department, not add to it. You're trying to make them as efficient as possible and give them the best opportunity of being successful.
Okay,
I'm not sure publicly berating them does that.
Well, he just said he expected and demands a little better performance. So, OK, so what stage, this is hypothetically, if Richmond go on losing game after game and they're... how many games have you won? One. And they're 13-1 after round 14. Well, do you think it would be opportune for him to wander out and say, hey, boys, what's going on? Come on, have a bit of a go. Mate, he should be ropeable. Yeah,
and he can be ropeable, but some have the view that you can be ropeable behind closed doors, but then when you front up to the public, you're a unified club.
Oh, I see. So you're a charlatan. You have a different pose for behind the doors.
OK.
Of course, we are allowed to have different views in this caper. That's what makes it so brilliant.
Becky, would you, if you were Peggy Sue, would you come out and...
Hey, don't be disrespectful.
I'm not being
Peggy O'Neill is a very good operator, a very, very good operator.
I'm not being... If you were Peggy O'Neill, would you come out to the Richmond lads and say...
I will say that my choice would not be to do it on Twitter. Because I don't think that's the forum to do it.
Well, would you, if someone publicly put a microphone under your face, would you say, and you're the president of Richmond, would you say...
We can play this game of hypotheticals all night, but should we get to their game?
Yes.
Yes, let's get to their game. It is Port Adelaide taking on Richmond on Saturday night at the MCG. It is a very big one indeed. We know that Alex Rance is having a little holiday, so here's an unfortunate out for the Tigers, and Townsend is out as well. We know this man is a big in. Brett Deledio comes back. And Sean Hampson also makes a return, but on the other side, have a look at the outs for Port Adelaide. We've got Trendo missing, we've got Amon missing, we've got Lobie missing, Gray and Wingard missing. So that is a huge change in their lineup for that clash at the MCG with Richmond. It's going to be very difficult for Port Adelaide with some of those outs. These two sides need to win, would you say, Bill? Very important that they get a win on the board.
Very, very important game, but Richmond are going to win this game because of this man here. And there's some big outs in there, deletes there for Port. Unfortunately, Robbie Gray hurt his hamstring today at training.
Was it today, was it? Yeah. Well, that's no good for Robbie. Very good news for us. He's been a pretty damn good player so far across the first 5 rounds. But, yeah, we're looking forward to getting our season up and going, and it all starts Saturday night for us.
Wingard missing as well, so Wingard and Gray both out for Port Adelaide. You've got a tall side in here, Lids. Hampson and Marriage picked in the same team. Are they going to absolutely play?
I'd assume
You're
so.
going with a double ruck combo?
Yeah, well, I think sides have shown, even your boys have shown that with some tall forward targets, you can really utilise and stretch backline. So we'll see, but I'm pretty sure Dimmer's got that in his plans.
Jackie Boyd?
I think Port Adelaide played a pretty good first half last week. You know, pretty tough at the contest, but couldn't keep it going for 4 quarters. I think with Lids back, the Tigers will get it done.
If Port Adelaide happen to stumble, you wait for the Koshmeister next week. Mate, you just wait. I tell you, I think there might be a small reason why Port Adelaide are not calling a game. Had a game plan, Plan A, and it turned. It wasn't great.
Not going so well.
It wasn't. Thank you, Beck.
No.
And then they went to Plan B, and I think this would give you an indication. This was the whiteboard at 3/4 time. Not a hell of...
No players.
That was Plan B. Not a hell of a lot going on there, and no wonder they were struggling. But I think Kosh, the cocky, I think he has tremendous influence, and I think that will resonate with the side, and they'll beat the Tigers.
Okay. I'm disagreeing with you, Foss. I reckon Lids is back in the side, and I reckon it's the Tigers all the way. I reckon it'll be a healthy win for the Tigers.
All right. Lots of intriguing games in this round of football, but this one has got plenty hanging on it. It's coming out of Sydney, of course. GWS are going beautifully. They take on the Hawks. They gave them a touch-up at this venue last year. They're playing very nice football, GWS, 3-2, sitting 6th on the ladder with an enormously talented list. One of the veterans has been good enough to jump on a link and speak to us tonight. I speak of Heath Shaw, everybody. Nice to see you, Heath. Now, mate, you are in the back half of what's been a very, very good career. You must be just pumped running around with these unbelievably talented kids.
The back half, you reckon? No, it's not too bad, mate. It's, I've sort of tagged on the end of a pretty good list. When I first got up here, we were sort of young and hadn't had too many wins and much success, but now we're starting to string some real consistent games together, and yeah, looking forward to a massive clash on Saturday Arvo against the reigning premiers.
Heath, as well as yourself, Jeremy Cameron is so important to your side, and in this clash last year against the Hawks, he kicked 7 goals and you rolled the Hawks by 10 points in a really super exciting contest for you. And last week he kicked 5 goals. Really important this week, would you say, that that Stevie J and Jeremy Cameron keep those goals coming?
Yeah, it would have been good to have Jeremy the first 4 rounds as well.
Yeah.
But he's definitely a quality player, and Jezza, I don't think there's too much structure about the way he goes about his footy. He's just a natural country footballer who loves kicking goals and is always in the right place at the right time. And Stevie last week put 4 on the board, and he's a unique unit, Stevie, and I love playing with him, and the boys love playing with him, and get excited when he kicks a few goals, so hopefully he can keep that up as well.
A unique unit. That's, yeah, he's a bit more
flattering
than that.
description.
Yeah. Hey, Billy here, mate. Are you in the best form of your career?
Yeah, I'll go all right. It's not like... It's always good when you're winning games of football and the team's going well, because it makes the backmen and I suppose the older statesmen look pretty good. But to be honest, I love watching the group that we have develop and play good footy. Nathan Wilson, Zach Williams, Adam Kennedy in the backline especially. I've loved watching them over the first 5 weeks and the way they go about their business, and I'm taking a sort of a back seat back there and enjoying the ride.
You're going well on the field, apparently not going so well off the field. You live in that magnificent house with Johnny Patton and Steve Caniglio. And they do very well apparently, but you're just struggling there, Heath.
Mate, I still think I'm 21. I moved in with 2 21-year-olds. I think I'm 21. It's hard work living with 2 young guys and trying to keep up with them all, especially on the weekends. But I've enjoyed my time with them, and hopefully they keep me around for a bit longer.
Now, Heath, you were responsible for a couple of weeks ago, brutal and savage assault on the integrity of our game. This is it here. You've slung, yeah, pointing to the umpire, just indicating, and you got 50 metres for it, mate. You must be absolutely, might write an apology letter to him, the umpire, for that. What is that about?
Yeah, no, mate, it was... I probably had a rough sort of 15 minutes of that game. We kicked the first 3 goals against Port Adelaide, and then they kicked the next 3, all from my free kicks again. So I was going through a little rough patch, and
pointing at the
poor
umpire
was on the receiving end.
No, mate.
Yeah, I pointed at him.
Yeah,
it was fairly...
yeah. It's shocking
it looked pretty mean. I'm a pretty scary character, so we gave the 50.
Look, there it is. There. We're watching it now.
Look at that. And,
very
honestly,
scary.
What is that?
50 metres.
How anal can you get?
Exactly.
No, so seriously, Jim.
Well, you're not allowed. They call it demonstrative actions towards the umpires, and as soon as you point at them, it's 50 metres. As Heater and every player in the comp, these two, you know, you're not allowed to do it. Whether you want to or not, and I'm sure there were times you want to, it's actually part of the laws of the game now, Forsell.
I wonder if you can think something about the umpire.
Hey, Heath, Nathan Buckley said, I think it was last week, saying that there's extra pressure playing for Collingwood. Are you actually enjoying being out of the limelight, being in the Harbour City? Because you're playing great footy.
Yeah, it's totally different to playing for Collingwood. come up to Sydney, and especially come to the Giants, a start-up club and a very fresh club. And it's not a footy town, but we're trying to make it. Not many people recognise you're in Sydney, especially if you play AFL. So it's good just to go about your business, play footy, and hopefully the more sort of success we have and more wins we get recognised a bit more, and more drink cards on the weekends.
I was about to say, Shorey, after listening to some stories from Tommy Bugg about you, I'd love to have a beer with you at some stage. But no, just wondering about my old mate Tommy Scully. Wish he was still with us, but he's playing some pretty good footy up there at the moment.
Yeah, mate, Sculls is in career best. He's been maligned most of his career for moving up here, and I suppose leaving the D's, and didn't perform to everyone's expectations. But internally, we knew what Tom does for the team, and what he's been doing for us this year is just rewards. He's in career best, as I said before. He's got a fiancée. He bought a new boat. He's living the dream, mate.
The old man's going, what? Hey, now, let's have a look at this game. This is a beauty. Great game over in Western Sydney. It's the Giants, who have had 3 wins and 2 losses. A good win last week. Toby Green kicked 4, Stevie J kicked 4, and Cameron, of course, kicked 5. Palmer comes in, Reece Palmer in, and out goes Devon Smith. He's a big loss because he can kick goals. You'll miss him. Take on the mighty Hawks, who have won their last 3 games by 3 points. And Daniel Howell comes in, and Kieran Lovell for his first game. Good luck to Kieran Lovell from Tasmania. And out goes Langford, and Hartung has been omitted. And how good was the Poppy last week? Puopolo was very good with 5 and Cyril with 4. So they're going to have to watch those two, aren't they, Delit?
They certainly will be. I can imagine Heat will be playing on one of those small forwards. But I like the Giants up there. I think they're going pretty well at the moment. A very slick outfit, and look out in years to come. I think they're going to be pretty handy.
I think having Cameron back is just massive for them. He just straightens them right up. Hawks have been getting by the last couple of weeks, but yeah, I think GWS will get the win.
Bearing in mind that Greater West Sydney will probably win the premiership next year, this could be... you think I'm joking? This will probably be a small indication of the changing of the guard, and I think they might win. And incidentally, what a kick by that boy Puopolo. Puopolo. He has become an instant board member of FARC, which is Fossils Academy of Reliable Kicking. It was going to be Fossil Unravels the Clues to Kicking. We couldn't register that particular acronym. But what a kick that is. That's what football's about, and well done, my man.
Yeah, I like GWS as well up there. I reckon you're right. This might be the changing of the guard. Fossy?
All right. Heat, a couple of things. Firstly, Callum Ward, one of the most underrated leaders in the competition, having a brilliant season. You must be really pumped with him. But this we enjoyed. We saw this photo on social media. It says, thanks at Lamborghini for the wheels. Why buy a house when you can buy a Lambo? Hashtag can't drive a house. Now, we loved seeing that, but there's no man more passionate about his Lamborghinis than our man, the Force. Were you aware of that?
Yes, I know. I reckon he's got about 4 or 5 in his garage. That was my mate's car.
Was it
he wouldn't let me drive it.
Was it a Huracan, or do you know what it was? A Huracan or an Aventador?
It was a Lamborghini.
It looked like a Huracan. The next time you come down to Melbourne, I'll give you the real big, expensive one to drive. It's called an Aventador, which is what I have.
So you'll let me drive it around?
Hey, what's that, mate? What's that?
Did you say you'll let me drive your Lamborghini around?
I will, mate. It's only a car. I'll let you drive it.
Whoa.
Beauty. I'll take you up on that for sure.
He'll drive it back to Sydney.
Yeah, exactly right. You may never see it again. Hey, Heater, as I said, everyone's loving the emergence of this unbelievably talented group, but you need the experienced boys doing the job as well. I mentioned Callum Ward and the Chompers, who's on this show next week, by the way, Stevie J. But good luck. Massive game against the Hawks. We really appreciate you jumping on.
No worries, guys. Thanks for having me.
One of the real characters of the AFL, he's Shaw, and as Sam said, they are getting good, real good GWS. We're going to take a break. We've got Sam's mailbag still to come, Brad Scott still to come. Massive finish, so stick. tradies go, our great mates, on sportsbet.com.au. Download the mobile app today. All right. Speaking of Nissan, right now you can get a big deal. You can get the NP300 Navara ST 4x4 dual cab manual with class-leading diesel fuel economy fat and a 3.5-tonne brake towing capacity for just $42,990 drive away. That is a big deal. See your local Nissan dealer today.
Big game in the West on Sunday. It is the Eagles taking on Collingwood. Be a very interesting clash for both sides. Taking a look at the squads, obviously only the squads because we'll play on Sunday. Out for the Eagles is McGuinness, in comes Lysett and Cole, and Collingwood, Travis Varco, that hamstring injury, so he's taking a rest. Another week without Travis Cloak as well. And for Collingwood, in comes Langdon, Goodyear, Sinclair and Broomhead. The pressure obviously off Collingwood a little bit after their Anzac Day clash win, but it's pretty difficult to go over to the West and beat the Eagles, would you say, Bill?
Yeah, it's very tough, this one. West Coast, they're going to play 4 quarters. Their coach was. Simo wasn't happy with the West Coast last week. So they'll play 4 quarters and they'll win this game pretty easy, I would have thought. Brett Tility,
Having watched West Coast a couple of weeks ago, they defend that ground pretty well, Bill, so hard to go past. West Coast for me as well.
I think they're, obviously a super team, West Coast, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say the Pies are going to get after last week. I think they've got a bit of confidence back. Steely Sidebottom's an absolute superstar.
Bit of momentum.
Absolutely, that famous word. So,
what price are they again? Let's have a look here. Not that you can have a bet, but I can if it comes up now.
Sports bet you're talking about, Willis?
Well, sports bet, that's what we're waiting for, Jim. We'll just wait here for a little longer.
We'll get the forces' thoughts before we get to sports bet.
Well, there it is. $6.85. That's not bad, Jack.
I think they're a better team than what people think, and they've had a rough start, but yeah, I think they can come through with a good semi.
No, good. That's fair enough. That's a tip. After that Anzac Day farce.
Why?
Well, God, it was a farce, mate. Trying to play a side that hasn't got any, lost 35 of their players through some. If you are an Essendon supporter,
we cannot be doing just a tip is all right.
If you're an Essendon supporter, stick around. You will not believe what I've just learned about Essendon. Stick around. Well, I think the West Coast Eagles might beat Collingwood over there.
Yeah. Jack, I like you being optimistic, but I don't think so. West Coast for me.
Yes.
One of the great stories to emerge out of Anzac Day was Mason Cox, if you don't mind, the big American. First time ever anyone who was born and bred in the States has played AFL football. The first touch he hit up to beautifully. So what it's caused, Bill, is a media storm in the States. Pandemonium over there. Take a look at some of the reaction.
In a story from down under, Oklahoma State University graduate Mason Cox became the first born and raised American to score a goal in the Australian Football League. But a lot of us Americans were confused by what we saw. It's like watching 8 sports at once, said one. This is like football for clumsy people, said another. And is it what? What the hell is this? Or this? Hell, isn't this the same fat guy? Hey, fat man, grow some balls. Jesus.
What
is they talking about you, Bill?
What is that septic tank?
Middle of a story about Mason Cox. You copped it, Fatty.
Old septic there.
Any word from Gary Buckenara?
No, I haven't received anything.
Text?
No.
I think you may have received a text in the ad break.
I did.
I think you may have.
Why? What did Gary
No need
say?
for that apology. It was a piss week bunny chop. Gary Buckenara?
Well, he can get Buckenara.
Oh! Come on, Bill.
I nearly killed him. He's lucky.
You did not. All right, back by popular demand and into its earlier time slot. You'll be very happy that we've got you into the earlier time slot.
Yeah,
more people are up, more people are watching.
Wow.
It is now time for Sam's mailbag.
That's always been a worry to me, Beck, whether people are watching. If you don't want to watch, I'm saying this. We're speaking of Gary. I'm saying hello to my friend and our friend Gary Lyon. Hope you're going well, mate.
Absolutely.
From Skatestar, from Skatester Mum, from a Skatester Mum of Docklands.
Skater.
Sam, I don't.
Skater, there's no S in it. Skater Mum of Docklands.
It is
Skater.
too. Skater.
Skater boy.
Sam, I don't care if Rebecca is going to reenact her salt and pepper dance.
Which I'm not.
Or her high school high jump record. That was her school high jump record. Jim was also a high jumper at school, but not quite as successful as Becca.
Oh, no.
Also had red hair as a kid, did I?
Apparently. But I do, says Skater, Mum, but I do care when you give my 16-year-old son and his friend a spray just for being skateboarders. That is true. I didn't give them a spray, but I spoke severely to them. You missed out on meeting two beautiful, well-mannered boys. Yeah, they were well-mannered. This is true, incidentally. They weren't hanging around the Docklands to wreck stuff. Well, not after I asked them to move on. They didn't wreck any stuff. They were actually exploring the city and really did check out the new art gallery there. Oh, yeah, that'd be right. I'm proud of my son who represented Victoria at the recent Skateboard Nationals at Moomba, but even more proud of his positive attitude towards life and his respect of others.
Well said.
Yeah.
Well, that is well said. He would be an exception to those pests who come and defile and degrade and disgrace themselves by jumping on community infrastructure and wrecking the community where I live. If you want to jump on someone's fence, go to your own house and jump on it. Stop annoying people where we live. There's a sign up that says no skateboarders. How often do you want to be told? They were very nice boys. Yes. I didn't swear at them, but I did make sure they moved on, and the bloke pathetically said, "Oh, we're here to look at an art gallery." I said, "Yeah, right."
So what are you actually trying to say?
What?
What are you actually trying to say?
If you're a skateboarder, don't come round the Docklands where I am. Because they jump on all the walls and they chip the bricks.
Concrete.
That's right.
It's a playground
and they
for skateboarders.
Well, there's skateboard parks. Go and do it there and stop annoying everyone. Because what happens is, they do all these tricks and the skateboard shoots out from under their feet and spears people in prams and bloody...
That's never happened.
What do you actually think of skateboarders?
Hey?
What do you actually think of skateboarders?
They're annoying people.
Well, interesting. It took me a long time to get him to cough that up, Beck, because we stumbled across a bit of vision, which I think everyone find interesting. What is this about?
Look how...
Just in a public place? Back in the day?
Well, you notice that was an abandoned building. Was it? And it wasn't any infrastructure. There was the public that had to weather the storm, and they come back and they fix all the chip bricks and they put those little metal things so you can't jump on the wall.
And that was you, was it?
Hey?
That was you, was it?
Well, apparently it was me, Bill.
Yeah. No, 11-2 force.
Spears kids in prams.
Yes,
it does.
Never happened, ever.
Don't come round where I live. From Alec of Melbourne. Sam, cleaning out the old man's shed over the weekend and came across some particularly racy magazines. Ooh. If Beck wasn't sitting there next to you, what has that got to do with it? We are inclusive here. Beck's quite...
and respectful. Yes, keep going.
If Beck wasn't sitting there next to you, I'd call them soft porn. Oh, I'll bet you've never heard that word before, Beck. You didn't happen to do a few scenes back in the day, did you?
Oh my goodness!
You've done that. That's Jim ramming the point home.
What is that?
Hey?
They're the highest pants. They're about the same height you wear your pants too. Ever look back on that?
They were up.
That's up around the nipple area. Look at that.
See the star up in the top left-hand corner. We have actually we have actually blocked out the girls' breast.
Well, we have.
What are we? A kids show here?
Family entertainment.
Women have breasts. Beck, I'm sure you would vouch for that.
Yes,
I mean, seriously, why did we have to put a star over the woman's breast? Because Beck's here.
No.
Wait, well, that's...
I didn't put the star there.
9, it's about
Well, it
the
says
right
if
time.
Beck wasn't there. Rob said that'll be extraordinarily
It's been the
humorous.
topic of conversation during the week.
Now, this is true. You think we make these things up, but we don't. Is this your handwriting, Becca? Is that your... Now, which close camera... Where are we? Can anyone see that? Is that your handwriting?
Yes, it's terrible handwriting, but it is.
Dear Fossey, I know you don't have dandruff, but just in case you ever do, this is because Beck said, geez, you've got dandruff, Sam. This shampoo will do the trick. A couple of washes and the problem's fixed. Back. Well, honestly, she went out and bought some Redken scalp massaging wash or some bloody... I'll prove I don't have dandruff.
No, you do have dandruff.
I don't.
2 weeks ago, there was more snow in here than Aspen, Colorado.
But Beck...
It was everywhere.
Beck.
Yes.
I hadn't washed the soap out of my hair. Now, this is...
What do you mean soap? No one washes their hair with soap.
Well,
Does anyone wash their hair with soap or shampoo?
Well, that's just a generic term for it.
Oh,
It's
is
like scalp treatment, so you don't pay tax on shampoo. Now look, here. Now I'm just happy to do this. Look. Is there any dandruff there?
No, because you used the shampoo during the week that I gave you.
But I don't have dandruff in the first place.
Well, what about Jack? He's got a new piece of memorabilia that's just been released
I
from the
actually
Footy
went to
Show
say hello to
office.
Beck backstage before I came out here, and this was sitting on her desk, Sammy, just a little bit of...
Oh,
There it is.
there it is. Footy Show have put out their
That's
own...
the makeup. That's the powder.
Foss flakes, there we are. All the little flakes are caught in there.
That's it.
You have got dandruff.
Well, at least you haven't.
So, Samuel, what you're telling me is even after using the black card test, there was no dandruff?
No dandruff at all.
No sign of dandruff?
No dandruff. Look.
What about now? Is there any
That's
sign?
about what it was like last week.
This is what we gathered off the floor a couple of weeks ago.
That's how big they are.
Honestly, this is kid shit.
Awfully good for us. We
This
love
is
it.
very,
I was
very
just trying to be helpful.
If you want to
Fossey.
contribute to Sam's mailbag, it's very easy to do. GPO Box 9, Melbourne, Victoria, 3001. Sams.mailbag@9.com.au, 9now.com.au. Footy Show.
Can we stop the dandruff?
And you can do all of the above. Look at this. Dandruff falling off our roof, Force. It's amazing, isn't it?
Brad Scott's going to love this.
Oh, no, he will absolutely love it. And the reason Bill said that is because he's next on a big edition of the Footy.
Free kick, Hawthorn.
Patrick Dangerfield has been hammered from pillar to post, and it erupts again. Little spot fires everywhere here at the moment. Oh, it's on again, and it's on again at ground level. Here they go. Boy, look at him go here. Gregson's throwing a couple. Tringo's gone in. All the heavies are there, right near the supporters. And it's going to go again. Oh, here comes Linda Dunn. It's back on. It is on. With the everywhere. Well, this is turning back the clock. This is a full-blown melee.
We're not supposed to like it, but gee, I was up and about in my living room on Saturday night. I
Didn't see Jack there, Beck.
thought it was excellent.
Nowhere to be seen you, Jack.
Now, someone who can also get pretty narky, especially when you steal his dressing room, is the best newsbreaker in the business. Welcome, please, Damien Barrett.
Thank you, Beck. There's a harsh reality tonight for Brownlow medalist Dane Swan, and the harsh reality goes this way, that he could actually earn more from football in 2017 if he doesn't actually play a game of football. The fact is, he's out of contract. His injury should have been deemed to be career-ending. He will earn about $400,000 via an AFL insurance policy, and that's about half the money that he's currently on in 2016. Collingwood, understandably, is going to be waiting some time before it determines how it best deals with Swan's future, but they do want him to return to football as soon as this year, but they do know they need to have this play out for all parties to be comfortable with what lies ahead. And just to back over that financial situation that Dane Swan could be faced with, if he does not play again because of the injury that he sustained in round one, and that injury was a fresh ailment, it was not at all related to a previous ailment that he had, he'd be left with the bizarre choice that to consider a contract offer from Collingwood that would be and could be considerably less than he would get from the AFL insurance policy to not actually play in 2017. We already know that there's going to be one Magpie premiership player on less money in 2017 than this year. That's Travis Cloke. And even if both Cloke and Swan are on the Collingwood list in 2017, there's going to be about $800,000 of free salary cap money, and that would allow the club to again target a big-name player. On to another club's big-name player who also has doubts about his future, Fremantle's Aaron Sandilands. Despite turning 34 before next season starts, and despite recovering from a horrific lung and rib injury sustained a couple of weeks ago, and despite the Dockers clearly now rebuilding, as per Ross Lyon's words earlier this week, the club is very keen for Sandilands at 34 years of age to continue into 2017. He wants to continue, and a fresh deal will be struck, we believe, pretty soon on that. The monster that is GWS is about to get even bigger, and Victorian clubs are more enraged than ever before about the draft concessions that this club has received and are about to receive still. Just a quick recap. Since 2011, the Giants have received 25 first-round draft picks, added them to their list. You can increase that number to 35 if you factor in the 10 17-year-old players that they added to their list before they joined the AFL. Now, this is where the Victorian clubs have had enough. Last year, 4 players were added to that club's list via their exclusive player academy. This year, there are 9 immediately draftable players available to the Giants under that same academy arrangements. It gets worse for the Victorian clubs when they analyse the quality of those players. 5 of those 9 academy players for 2016 are deemed by talent scouts around Victoria to be among the top 25 in the land when it comes to emerging player talent. And even before the Giants get to trade out some quality players, and they will do that, they've got a history of doing that, even before they do that this year, guys, they've already got access to 3 first-round draft picks and 2 second-round draft picks. Jim, I've spoken to quite a few clubs about this. I get the feeling they have never been more angered by what lies ahead, particularly given what this club has already received. And also the fact, too, that there's no significant amount of investment in these Victorian clubs' eyes going into these academy-listed players. They are players who have grown up playing football all their life, and they are players who have resided all their lives in traditional football heartland areas. What's your view as a chairman of a footy club?
I think you've just nailed it, Damo. I think they've had a fair leg up, these 2 clubs. I think you only need to go back to the Fremantle Dockers and Port Adelaide and ask them how hard it was to put a list together from scratch without any of the unbelievable concessions that these 2 clubs have had. So the academy thing worries us all. I know if you go to Ed or any of the presidents of the clubs sort of west of the zones you're talking about, they'll say, just give us the same amount of money to spend on players, give us the same amount of access to the talent, and then we'll all have a crack. But when clubs are gift-wrapped players that you don't even get a look at, when everyone else can just find their players in the draft, that's our biggest concern. So I have issues with them. I know a lot of the presidents and a lot of the people do, and the sooner it's addressed so that it's level and fair, the better.
Yeah, it's stuck. You're stuck with it for this year, as far as we know, but the clubs are beginning to lobby and lobby hard. And just before I go, Richmond, we know, had already done an extensive review into its football operations before they recontracted Damien Hardwick for a further 2 years beyond this year. Well, they're about to launch into another forensic analysis of the entire football operations. A particular focus in this latest review will go on to the development areas of the footy club, as well as the assistant coaches, and it will also take in recruiting.
Could I ask you a question? Do I take it that Dane Swan at the minute is on $200,000 a year to play football for Collingwood?
No, he's on about 800 or thereabouts.
Did you listen?
I did listen, Mammoth. I did listen.
The figure.
You said he'd get 400 grand if he stopped playing, which is about
half what he's on now.
I see.
Yeah.
I was about to go and tell him not to play.
No, it's a good thing you didn't. Thank Damien Barrett, everybody, by far the best in the business.
Speaking of Damien Barrett, Tim, what about this photo we saw today on the wires? Have a look at the young Damien Barrett. Have a look at that. What a sexy spunk.
Come on.
There he is. Oh, some great acting from Damo. He's got it all, Jim. He's got it all, our man.
Hey, I tell you, the Adelaide Crows are losing no friends this season. They've got a big game coming up. Let's take a look at Adelaide and Freo at the Adelaide Oval. Don Pike just got him going beautifully. Very unfortunate Friday night, one of the games of the year against Hawthorn. Just the squads, as we can see for the moment, but they have got weapons everywhere in the forward half. They've got a very, very good midfield, and Freo are yet to greet the judges in season 2016. Massive injury problems, Big Willis.
Yeah.
Fife out, Johnson out, and they're out for a long, long time. Nice to see Mundy back in and Blakey comes in as well.
Yeah, exactly, but you've got to stick with Adelaide. They were very impressive last week, and back home, as you said, they win, the Lids.
I think you're right there, Bill. Their midfield's just flying at the moment, led by big saucy Jacobs. He's just hitting it wherever he likes at the moment, so no big, tall ruckman to go up against this week. So Adelaide for me.
Thank you, boy.
Yeah, I think pretty similar. Tommy Lynch on fire up forward. It's staggering watching Fremantle at 0-5, isn't it? After what you'd expect for them this year, but Adelaide playing a great brand of footy, and I think they'll win.
I don't think people understand the gravity of that Fremantle performance. That's extraordinary when you actually think about it. And Adelaide, my word, but for that tremendous goal kick, they were fantastic.
They have been
a
smashed
moral victory
by the way Freo with injury. Their 5 best players are unavailable, and 3 of them for a long, long time. Take your 5 best players out of any team, makes a big difference.
They can't take a trick, can they, Freo? When something goes wrong, it all just seems to go wrong. Adelaide for me.
All right, Sportsbet.
It all just goes worse.
Yeah. We know what you mean, Beck. Don't worry about that. If you place a head-to-head bet this weekend on any game in the first 8 rounds, by the way, and your team lead at any break but go on to lose the match, Sportsbet will give you your cash back up to $50. That's the cold, hard stuff we like. Back into your Sportsbet account if your team, Willis, lose after leading at any change. They have already refunded, if you don't mind, 60,000 punters in the first 5 rounds. So to get involved, download the app today, and please remember to gamble responsibly. Now, our 2 very fine men attached to this show, Dave Hughes and Shane Crawford, got involved, if you don't mind, Beck, in a Twitter stoush.
Oh, not on the Twitter again.
This
you
is
it gets
Twitter
people into trouble.
Social media.
Is everyone into trouble?
After Friday night, when Hughesy was of the opinion that Hawthorn might have got a little bit of help from the officials, this is how it went.
Eddie would love an early one. He's got it.
Eddie! Hashtag AFL Hawks Crows.
Hands in the air from eternity.
Soft freeze, poor umpiring. Smith drops it at the end. They don't call that bloody Hawthorn. Hashtag AFL Hawks Crows.
That's what Friday night footy should be like. Thanks, hashtag AFL Hawks Crows, for a great game. Hashtag Hawthorn always.
Unfucking believably bad umpiring and always in favour of Hawthorn. Fucking bullshit. Hashtag AFL Hawks Crows. The 3 umpires should be dropped for not making the call on Smith dropping the ball. Hashtag game ruined. Hashtag AFL Hawks Crows.
Push off, flog. I think someone had a bet on the Crows, Davey boy. Hashtag spilt milk. Good luck with the Blues this week.
I don't bet, but if I did, it would be on umpiring calls to favour Hawks at ends of tight matches. Did Smith drop it? My 6-year-old son has reprimanded me for swearing on the internet. Hashtag wanker.
If you want a better example of why I'm not on Twitter, look no further.
Imagine you at about 10:30 at night taking to Twitter.
Why would you be bothered doing it?
That'd be about 2 hours after you were asleep, by the way. You like that, Force?
I did.
And your little slippers under your bed.
And your old man smell.
Glass of milk. You wee the bed.
Bill, you're not smart enough to be half smart, so shut up.
All right, one of my favourite segments after the break, the high flyers of almost footy legends, is right up here.
Welcome back to the Footy Show. Time now for Almost Footy Legends. And what do we got, Jackie boy?
This is a ripping goal from the quarter cannons. Ben Ronke, here he goes, 1 bounce.
2.
Is this a third? He's still
bounce.
running.
4.
This is unbelievable. Might be a Boomer Harvey.
And bang, good goal, not bad.
Very good goal, man.
Have a look at this here, Newcastle City versus Entrance. Have a look at this, right? Third quarter grand final. 10 metres out, hits a post. But there was blokes in the road, so the umpire says, no, you get another kick. Don't worry about it. You get another kick.
The unmissable.
So, yeah, he's 10 metres out. He's going to kick it this time. Comes in and Dopey goes bang and misses. Oh, you idiot. How could you miss that? Actually, you'll probably miss that, Jeff.
And this one, finally, a big hover. This is a Tommy Bug hover hit right here. Easton Bot from Wodonga. That's a great grab, Bill. You would have taken a couple of them in your day.
No, you're spot on, Jackie boy. Just get out the old DVD or the beater. Now, which one did you like, my friend?
Look, I like the third, the big grab, but...
Are you sure?
Well...
What did the crowd like? Number one? Two? Yeah, three? All right, we're going with number two. Congratulations to Nathan. You have won this.
Thanks to Sportsbet, our weekly winner takes home $1,000 cash, while our runners-up get $500 each. Get involved this AFL season and make it a multi with Sportsbet. Thanks to Home Timber and Hardware, our major winner receives $5,000 in gift cards and a toolbox full of $45,000 in cold hard cash. That's a $50,000 prize. How's that to help you go hard towards the renovation you've always wanted? So to put the hard back into hardware, go where the tradies go. Home Timber and Hardware.
Go where the tradies go, indeed. $50,000 prize. Almost Footy Legend. GPO Box 9, Melbourne, Victoria. Or go to 9now.com.au/AFL, a little dash, footy, dash, for show. Hashtag, Jim.
No, not possible for you to do that any more smoothly there, Fat.
It's a long line.
Speaking of footy legends, none greater in our game than the great Ronald Dale Barassi. On Friday, May 13, we'll see a salute to this Australian icon via a wonderful evening, notable speakers, guests and performers, MCC Dining Room. The launch coincides with the great man's 80th birthday, and all proceeds go to Melbourne Footy Club's past and present players and Officials Association, who help out people from the Melbourne Footy Club in times of necessity and hardship. To get involved in this platinum event, all you need to do is head to ronbarassievents.com.au. Sam, a great friend of yours, this man, and a legend.
Well, he is. Ron, I've played with him and against him in state games and against him when he played for a couple of different clubs. I tell you what Ron is. There's not many of these people around. He's a national treasure. He's in the same league as Sir Weary Dunlop. Ron, he's a decent, honourable, humble, honest man. And if you can ever call anyone, man or woman, decent, that's what they are, and he is a star. And I love him.
Going to be a very good night is Saturday night in the G-Town.
Yes.
It is Geelong up against Gold Coast. For Geelong, we've got Gregson's been omitted and Ruggles is actually been managed. In comes Lockie Henderson and Jed Buse comes in, and for the Gold Coast, Sard is out. Riscatelli, that's a big out for the Gold Coast. In comes Davis and Prestia. Gary Ablett, his coach, admitting that he's been a little under the weather of late. He's been roughed up in the last few games, so he's carrying in a few little niggles as well. Cats sitting fourth on the ladder at the moment. Gold Coast a game behind them. It is going to be a huge night on Saturday night in the City of Dreams, Bill.
That's right, the City of Dreams under those magnificent lights down there. The lights come on for the first time, Jim.
It's unbelievable. Been at the SCG for 35 years.
But not like these lights down there.
Different ones.
They shine.
Do they?
Cats.
Where is it?
Swimming Stadium. $1.08 they are on Sportsbet.
Yeah, down there, I think they'll be far too strong.
Jack?
Yeah, loved watching the Cats last week. The response that they made, and I think they'll be too good down there.
Samuel?
They are ridiculous odds. Not our friends from... where are our friends from? Sportsbet. Ridiculous odds. You be very, very careful. If you are a Cats supporter, you be very careful about the Gold Coast wandering down there.
Oh, yes. Well said,
Copping abuse from the crowd.
I haven't tipped the Gold Coast, but be wary if you're a Geelong fan. That's all I'm saying.
Beck, I presume you were going with the Cats?
You are correct,
Mark, match up. There's some very interesting Mars matchups here too. Andrew Swallow and Mitch Wallace for most clearances, both clearance animals. Jeremy Cameron, Paul Puopolo, the long and the short of it there. Willis
goals
for most goals, and Joel Selwood, Gary Ablett.
Handballs, Jim.
Sam Lloyd and Ollie Wines.
Tackles, Jim.
That's all you
Who's
need
got the
to
best
know.
tackle?
Marsmatchups.com.au down the bottom. All right, we need to get to a break because this is a new segment that has taken the world by storm.
Yes.
It's called What the Foss, and it's dangerous, and it's on its way. Welcome back to the Footy Show. Just a very quick reminder, the Sunday Footy Show, 11 a.m. Sunday, flying. Footy Classified, Monday, 10 p.m, flying. AFL's home of footy is the Nine Network, make no mistake about that. Bill?
Yes, Carlton, who are flying, also take on Essendon on Sunday. But what a great win it was by Carlton last week. Dale Thomas kicked 2. Liam Jones kicked a couple too. Well done to him. Dennis is back, Jim. Dennis Armfield is back. Jamison White, Tutt and Graham Buckley's out, and Curnow is also out. Take on the mighty Essendon, who were belted last week. And Crowley, Simpson and Polkinghorn come into the squad there. This one's at the MCG, and Carlton are going to win 2. Back-to-back, Carlton for me.
Yeah, I'm back in the baggers to get up with Murph's helmet looking very good on the weekend.
Yeah, lovely.
Slick, isn't it?
Jacob Wiedering going very well. I would have liked to start like that as a #1 draft pick, but I think the Blues will get up after last week.
Do you realise that Russia, who have admitted to embarking on a consistent, deliberate, concerted, illegal, disingenuous, calculated decision to rort and cheat their system through performance-enhancing drugs, have been admitted to compete in the Rio Olympics, and in the next room in Switzerland, they're considering Essendon's appeal on their doping scandal. If you don't think that is out of whack with WADA, I tell you what, the world's gone mad.
Righto, on the back of that, you think the Blues or Essendon?
Essendon couldn't possibly win another game.
Righto, Beck.
Blues for me.
We keep the footy rolling. Brisbane playing host to the Sydney Swans at the Gabba. There we are. There's a couple of fans punching on. Here we go. Green out and Cutler out injured. Speaking of clubs that have had a huge issue with injury, just squads. Mays, Keys, Robertson, McStay and Evans come in for Brisbane, and they take on the Sydney Swans, who are going beautifully. Richard's out injured, and it's going to be a while, of course. And Alia is a great story. He comes in. Again, just the squads. Jones, Hiscox and Nankervis. Jack, I'm going to start with you. Do you like the Swans?
I like the Swans. Hard to go past them. I think they'll go a long way this year.
Yeah, although I love the work of Lepper and Danny Daly up there at the Lions, I think the Swans will be too strong up there.
Willis?
Yep, Swans for me. Keep an eye on Ben Keys, playing for Brisbane. Very, very good player, Jimmy boy.
Right, Samuel?
Yes. Yep.
Sydney? Sydney for you?
Of course.
Beck?
I do want to say, just Alia is such a great story. He was born in a refugee camp. He's Kenyan, born in a refugee camp. That's an extraordinary story, so well done.
No, it is
well
a
done
great
to him.
story. Now, Jack, entrepreneur you are.
Yes, here they
Explain
are.
to us what you're doing.
So, me and a couple of mates have started up our own board shorts business.
Oh.
It's called Squash. We launched last December.
Men's swimming trunks.
Men's swim trunks, Jim.
Oh,
That's
yes.
right.
There we
And,
go.
we sell
Nice.
all our stuff online at squash.com.au.
Squash,
So
spelled
jump on.
How do you spell it?
SKWOSH. So it's a bit different, Bill.
H
But,
force.
Who did he? What did he
no,
say?
they're not too tight. They
He
look
said
good
that?
on
He
lids,
said
I'll tell you
H.
what.
That's
Don't
it.
fit me.
Wouldn't have bought him otherwise.
A Brighton grammarian, so he knows how to
You
say
said
it.
H?
H.
Yeah,
Are you
wouldn't
going to
have-
put them on for us, Forsler?
Said H, I wouldn't have bought him. Yep. What? Take my pants off?
Yeah, we'll take your pants off. Get them on.
No, please.
We'll take a break. You put them on. We'll
me
get
a
to a
favour.
break. What the
Put them over
fuss?
your pants.
Couldn't give me a hand taking them off.
Oh, what the fuss next on the Footy Show?
As always, we like like to save the best to last here on the Footy Show, or the most inappropriate. It is time now for What the Foss. Okay, so before the show, we need to set this up. We need to say what's going on. Before the show, the audience got to write down the questions that they've always wanted to ask Sam. We go through those questions. Some of them inappropriate, some are okay, so we've let those go through. Sam, you have no idea of the questions that you're about to be asked, and the boys have got them in their hot little hands. Bill, we'll start with you.
Okay, Peter Maher.
Where are you, Pete?
Oh, he's gone home early.
Oh, yeah,
no,
there he is.
Oh,
back
right,
there. There he is.
Peter
Pete.
says
Right,
Sam.
we can see you, Pete.
That's
There
Pete
he
up
is.
there.
There he is. Hello, Pete.
I don't think that's him, Jim, by the way.
Oh, he's enjoying himself, Pete. Not a...
Actually, it's Peter Maker.
You
It's not him, but he stood up. Anyway, he asked, can I drive your Lamborghini, Sam?
Can you drive it? I wouldn't think you'd physically be capable of driving it. It's a very complicated machine, that's fair. And I would have to be in it, but I'm very, very particular. There's a certain wank level in driving a Lamborghini, and just by looking at you, mate, you wouldn't get through to the semis without dropping a set.
Thank you, Pete.
You've got to be of a different class to be in it.
Well done, Pete.
Well, thank you, Pete. Right over, Lids, who have you got?
This one's from Ryan Morrow.
Ryan,
there he is.
The doggies jumper.
Oh,
Yep.
yes.
What is the most awkward situation your mum ever found you in?
Oh.
Well, I'll tell you what, I was at a boarding school, and I remember we were talking about with the boys the size of our manhood.
Yes.
And I got home one school holidays. I lived down the coast, and I purloined my mother's fabric tape measure from her sewing machine kit, and I'm standing in my bedroom. I've got the thing out, and I'm actually... You had to be reasonably aroused to get a decent measurement on it, and I had the tape measure on it, and she walked in, she said, "What have you got there?" I said, "About 6 inches." That was only just I hadn't really fired up.
That's enough.
Last one.
Righto, Jack.
Rodney Jennings.
Where are you, Rodney? Here he is.
After a bit of wisdom.
Hello, Rod.
Foss, I've been married 33 years. Have you got any advice for the future?
You got no future, mate. I tell you what. This I say, Rod. Wind it up,
Sam.
I don't care if she's there or not. Give us a look at her. There, you got no future. Wind it up. Wind it up. Wipe the frown off your face. Get out to a venue and see if you can pair one from the herd, mate. Enjoy the rest of your life. Give it away.
Look at Beck.
Thank Jack and Brett Delenio, who will start. Bill, enjoy your weekend. Look at the old squash. There we are.
Nice leg, Sammy.
Beck, well done. Make sure you join us next week. Stevie J's on the panel. We'll see you then.
He's got good legs still.